till Rio, my family has been supporting a lot. They have been struggling a lot to give me funds for going for international tournaments and training camps. So that pressure was with me that my family is doing a lot for me. So I must win this competition. I must qualify for Olympics. Teachers have been asking so many questions before getting their name into the sport. And one of the questions they asked was the family income, the annual income of the family, because they told that fencing is a very expensive sport, and if you come from a poor background you will not be able to afford it. So you have to decide if you really want to play this sport and all. Even though India is it's a popular country, we have a great achievement in other fields, but still in fencing India is still a very new country and very young. And some coaches, like some high level coaches, they won't take athletes from countries like India where fencing is not popular, where fences are not very strong. So they will not give their effort and energy to develop an athlete from this country.
Hello and welcome to HD's weekly talk show, The Interview. Resuming our ongoing series on sportspersons doing India proud in Tokyo, we have with us Bhavani Devi, the first Indian to have represented the country in fencing at the Olympics. Welcome to the show, Bhavani, and thank you for being with us.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you for having me.
Let me begin by asking you, how important is a medal to you?
A medal is for what we are working hard. We are working the whole year and the whole life for to win that particular medal. And to win that medal, you need to do a lot of things other than training. You need to sacrifice your social life. You need to uh, think only about the sport, because you can do good results in sports, but to achieve medal or to be on the podium you need to do something more than what other athletes do. So winning a medal is always a special moment and a special reward.
How heartbroken were you not to be able to win a medal at the Olympics?
Olympics is the biggest dream for every athlete in this world, and millions of athletes are working hard to win that particular gold medal. And for me, the first aim for me was to qualify for Olympics. I had no other role model from India to look after, to how to qualify for Olympics, or how to perform at the Olympic Games, and how to handle the Olympic pressure and all. So whatever I have done towards this Tokyo Olympic journey, everything was new for me. So definitely to not win a medal, the Tokyo Olympic Games is definitely a hard moment for me. But still, I accept that I have done a big achievement by qualifying as the first Indian in fencing in the Olympic Games.
You know, Rio taught you, as you yourself said, to stay in the moment and ward off the I must win pressure. Tell me about that.
Till Rio, my family has been supporting a lot. They have been struggling a lot to give me funds for going for international tournaments and training camps. So that pressure was with me that my family is doing a lot for me. So I must win this competition. I must qualify for Olympics. So these kind of pressure up to certain limit is good for you to perform your best. But sometimes if it goes after the limit, it will definitely bring down your performance.
You said when you did not qualify in Rio, you cried a lot. In Tokyo, when you did not get the medal and did not make it, as they would say, did you cry? And how terrible was that night?
Yes, I still cried after the match. Even before the match, even before the beginning of the Olympic match, my first match, I was also a little bit emotional, because I have done a lot of things for fencing, and I gave everything for fencing to arrive to Olympics. And finally, I'm on the podium, like on the piste, and I'm going to fence in the Olympic Games. And I know many people from India have been watching that match. I was standing on the podium to start my first match at the Olympic Games, and my mother was sitting in front of me. So that's a very emotional moment for me, because she has done so much for me in my fencing career, and I'm going to perform in front of her. That gave me a more motivation to do well in front of her.
You lost your father just before you were qualifying. And so there was this pressure of grief. On the other hand, there was this pressure to compete and do well. How did you balance? How did it work? And how tough was it?
When I had a very unfortunate demise of my father, I I have been, I told myself that, you know, I started this for a reason, and my father has done so much for me for my fencing career, and he wanted me to play at the Olympic Games, and he wanted me to win medals for India because he loved me playing. He loved watching me play in the international tournament. So I know if I stop, it would not be right for him. He will always want me to play, and I that gave me more motivation to qualify for Tokyo Olympic Games.
Let me take you back to your school days and your signing up for sports in school because you did not want to attend classes. And in other words, you wanted to evade the classroom. Tell me about that.
No, actually, it's because I always loved playing. I loved playing with friends, playing with the sports activities, any kind of activities. So when I moved to my new school, I was waiting to play something. I was waiting for an opportunity to play something. So when my high secondary school students came to our class and they said, we have 5 new sports in our school and we want 6 members in each sport. So I was so happy that I finally have got the opportunity to play. So when by the time when I went to give my name, they said all the sports have been filled with enough numbers. So we have only the last option is fencing. So I did not know anything about fencing then, and they also didn't explain much about the sport. So I only gave my name, and then after we went to Nehru Stadium, and they told that what is fencing, how it is played. They showed us the equipments. I was so happy and that I chose this sport because it was so much fun and it was so much exciting for us then and also now. And I always enjoyed playing fencing.
When you signed up, they asked you, what is your father's income? And you lied about it and you had to exaggerate because fencing is an expensive sport and father's income had a relevance to your being in the sport or not. So tell me about that.
Yes, so we had a very long queue. Everyone, the teachers have been asking so many questions before, getting their name into the sport. And one of the questions they asked was the family income, the annual income of the family, because they told that fencing is a very expensive sport, and if you come from a poor background, you will not be able to afford it. So you have to decide if you really want to play this sport and all. So I did not think about anything else. I'm like, I want to play this sport. I don't know about the sport, but I want to play. So I immediately I lied about my father's income so that they will they will accept me into this sport, and they accepted me then.
You opted for the saber discipline, which also is the most aggressive form in fencing. Why did you go for that?
I think it's the same reason why I choose saber, because it's very fast, very quick, and very aggressive. It's the energy which I liked in saber, so that's why.
You also got a black card for being 3 minutes late in Turkey. Tell me about that.
So I was 14 years when I got qualified for the first international tournament in Turkey in 2007. So I was so much excited to travel first time in the airplane and to travel outside the country and to take part in the international tournament. We stayed very far from the competition venue. So by the time we arrived to the venue, and even on the way to the venue, they told me that you have to change it in the car because you don't have enough time to do the warming up or changing in the competition venue. You have to change it in the car. So I was very shy then because we had some other athletes were also inside the car. I'm like, how can I change? They said you have no other option. You have to change it very quick. By the time you arrive, you have to just run to your pist. So I managed to change everything in the car, and when they opened the door, they told me run to your pist. So I ran, and but the referee still didn't accept me. He said, no, we already given you black card, so you cannot take part in this competition. So I was very upset, and I stayed with the fencing costume whole day. And that's when I learned about the punctuality. Like, then I always make sure that I do everything's in time.
Your father was a priest. Tell me about the pressures from the society because girls in sports and that too in fencing were unheard of.
My family always encouraged me whatever I do in my childhood. I tried to do so many activities in my childhood, but they always encouraged me. They always supported me to do well in whatever activities I do then. But whatever negative comments I received from the other people is from the my parents of my friends, or other people from the relatives and all. They after some point, like after 10th standard, some people told me like, oh, you are doing SLC, you have to focus on your study, you cannot travel for competition. Later, like after plus 2 and after college, and when I'm trying for Olympics, because from India, no one speaks about Olympics in fencing, no one thinks about Olympics then. So when I was working hard for it and I was losing many tournaments, I was nowhere near to the qualification. Many people, even from the fencing family, told me like, Bhavani, you have to think for your future. Fencing in India, it's not so good. We cannot think about Olympics. It's not, it's not our target. It's very difficult for us to arrive. You have to go for a job. You have to accept this offer. You have to accept that, or you have to finish that course and all. But it never affected me because my family was so very strongly supporting me, and they strongly believed in me that I will qualify for Olympics, I will go for Olympics, I will do big results in this sport. So that kind of support helped me to overcome all these discrimination. And most important thing in sports is sometimes women take more time to get their result. If the same thing happens to men, they will allow them. Even if the same thing happens to men to take 10 years to achieve certain big result, they will allow them to do. But if the same time period is happening with the women, they will not allow her to do 10 years of sports to achieve that one particular medal or achievement. So yes, definitely yes. Mostly what I feel is, what I have seen in my life is, if sometimes women's taking, or if even in my case, because I was trying for Olympic qualification from London Olympics, but of course 2012 and 2016 I did not get enough support or enough guidance to arrive to Olympics, but I was still trying my best at every level to arrive there. But it took a so long period to arrive to Olympics in 2020 Tokyo. But if most of the people are not even trying after 4 years or 5 years, because we have a limit already. I mean, the family is already given a certain limit for women, like, okay, you can play till you finish your graduation, or till you get a job, or till you get married, or even after or till you are 20 years old. So they have certain limits for women. But for men, I think mostly they don't have these limits. They are more free to continue to do their sports journey for longer period. And they are not given so much of restrictions like women.
So, is it only limits which are by the society and the family, or even the sporting federations?
Yes, it's all included, because it starts from the family, and then the participation of the women reduces from there itself. So then the federation or the other people will also think like, okay, women cannot, they don't want to do sports for longer periods, so we cannot support them for longer period.
You said that when you started off in school, there were 40 of you in fencing, and later you were the only one left. Tell me about this.
I think it's more than 40. I think it's not 40, it's more than 40. And more than 10-20 schools were coming for the training place in Chennai Nehru Stadium, and it's always full of people. We don't had enough place to train. So after every year, the numbers were going down, and after 3-4 years, it's like from 100 to 20. It was that much difference in 5 years itself. So it's because they want to give more priority to education, and they don't believe that women can do good achievements in sports. And yes, after 10 years it was just me, and many people were doing sport but not very professionally. And then now if you see from that batch it's just me who is still playing the sport.
How important was your getting married to your family? And was that one of the, constraints, or was that one of the issues?
So like I said, my family never forced me on anything. I was never told that about marriage or other things.
What
So
are your marriage plans?
okay, right now I don't have any plans because now I'm focusing full on the Paris Olympic Games. So after we'll see.
You started playing with bamboo sticks because you could not afford the equipment. Tell me about that.
So I understand the question why my physical education teacher asked me about the family income, because fencing equipments were very expensive, and it was not easily available also in India, because the swords can break easily. Sometimes in a month you have to buy two three swords, two three blades. And so what we did is we trained with the bamboo sticks during training, and we used to keep the proper equipments only for the competition so that we can use it for longer period. So that's what we did at the beginning. And then later on I started buying slowly equipments also for training. And like only like last few years have been training with the proper fencing equipments. Even till 5 years ago also I was trying to save my equipments for competitions.
But tell me, a bamboo stick doesn't have a blade, and
Yeah.
fencing equipment requires a blade. So, wasn't that a handicap?
No, no, because we still had the jackets, so we still played with the jackets, mask, and with protective like covers only. But still, we felt it's only in our imagination. It's like we are holding the saber, but actually we are playing with the sword. But we think that we are playing with the saber. So because I really had no other option, because otherwise I have to buy more equipments which I could not afford then. So this is the only option we had. So that's what I followed for a few years at the beginning.
You know, apart from your personal issues, one challenge was to explain to the people what fencing actually was.
So at the beginning, yes, when we won national medals, or when we come back from the national competition, or sometime when we come back from the international tournaments, so maybe we will be wearing the Tamil Nadu jacket or India jacket. People will be asking like, "Are you from sports? Which sports you play?" I'm like, "Yeah, fencing." Fencing, okay. What is that? So when we don't get that kind of appreciation or encouragement from the other people, it's difficult to self motivate yourself for after certain period. So sometimes a small appreciation from other people or small recognition will help you to do big results. So that's what I did not get properly at the beginning of my career, but later people understood about about the sport, about the qualification, about other things.
Was winning a medal your goal, or was it opening India's account as a fencer in Olympics? People have not watched me play. Now they will, is what you had said.
Yes, for me, it's always to win medal for India, to do something big in this sport, because I loved this sport and I really wanted to do something in this sport, and I was ready to do. I was ready to work really hard for this sport, and I had no excuse to quit this sport. So this is what I had in my mind. Like even though I did not have financial support, or I did not have knowledge about the sport, but I was ready to work hard. I want to be on the international podium with the national flag, and to hear the national song. Yeah, that's what I wanted to do, and I was working hard for that, and and I'm still working hard, and I hope I will win more medals for our country.
You have a master's in business administration. So, why sports instead of a cushy career in the corporate world?
I really don't know why sports, because when I joined the sport, I I don't know, I just want to do I was so passionate about the sport. I was so passionate about winning medal for India, and I cannot choose any other option. I did not keep any other option in my life. I just want to do this sport. And MBA and other things I did for my family, because my family supported me. Because only one condition they said is I have to do my education also. I should not stop my education. So that's why I did a BBA and MBA. And yeah, but for me the more priority in my life is fencing.
How has life changed after the Olympics?
So after Olympics, now many people, not many people, I think whole India knows about fencing now, and they will not ask me anymore about what is fencing. And many people know about me, and I personally I feel more motivation and more encouragement to work for Paris Olympics, because it's this kind of energies is very important to work well for the other tournaments. And I feel that I'm receiving that positive energy from the people, from the government, from the sponsors. And also it's a big relief for my family that, after lots of struggles and lots of things, I have finally made it to the Olympics, and now they are also more confident that I will do medal in the Paris Olympic Games. And yeah, I'm also feeling good, and not stress, not having the stress which I had in the past years. So yeah, I'm just looking forward to this season and the upcoming seasons.
Has money started coming in?
I'm getting the right support for my training and competitions. So I won't so it's not like I'm getting so much money. It's like I'm getting the good support for my training and for my competitions.
You know, a dirty secret, if I may use the word, about professional coaching is that no one wants to train athletes from the underdeveloped countries, India included.
Yes. So at the beginning, yeah, even though India is it's a popular country, we have a great achievement in other fields, but still in fencing, India is still a very new country and very young. And some coaches, like some high level coaches, they won't take athletes from countries like India where fencing is not popular, where fences are not very strong. So they will not give their effort and energy to develop an athlete from this country, these kind of countries. So it was very difficult at the beginning to to get that respect from the other fencers, other coaches, other referees. But later, once I started to make some kind of results and reach some rankings, so I started receiving the good respect, and it will help the other Indian fencers also to have that kind of respect and support from other people.
So you have shown the way.
I have done my best to do something for my country.
When asked about your hobbies, you simply said music and sleeping. Tell me about sleeping.
Yes, because sleeping is very important for sports performance. So, for me, I always like to train hard and hard. My coaches always told me like you have to train less, because sometimes I do too much, which affected my results also. So they always told me to take proper rest and to sleep more to recover better, so that you can train more harder in the next days. So I started focusing on sleep more. And then music and movies helped me to relax myself, to just to shift my focus from the sport, and to just be in a good chill moment. And I think these things help me to relax myself better.
Is it listening to music or do you play an instrument?
I can play only fencing.
Bhavani Devi, thank you very much. Thank you for your time and thank you for being with us.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much for having me.